right, hello and welcome to VOP this morning. I'm Moses Humphrey. Well, for those who have the opportunity to enjoy the Salah holidays, it's certainly only right to say welcome back. All right, welcome back to the world of work because we are here always, every time, here for you. Now, which, by the way, brings us to the day's main issue in focus. What should we expect from Mr. President after his official tour to France and personal stop in London, and of course his Salah holidays in Lagos? There's a country to run after all, isn't it? Well, that's what we shall be heading into on the show this morning. In the meantime, you may like to click on the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. It's Voice of the People TV on YouTube. That is Voice of the People TV. And then follow us on other social media platforms at voptvlive. All right. As usual, we'll go into what the cover pages are saying, the front pages of some newspapers are saying, and then we'll delve into the topic for the day. All right. And always to help us make sense of some of the things on the front pages of the papers, I have with me Cyril Abako. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Good morning, Moses.
Good morning once again, Nigerians. Good morning, world.
Moses, the good thing is Fridays always come, don't they?
They always do. They always do. And but unfortunately, for some of us, it really doesn't make a difference because even into the weekend, you get to work. People must be entertained. People must be informed. And that's why we are here every time. Oh, well, what spirits are you invoking this morning?
I have no spirit to invoke.
You have none to invoke.
I get where you're going.
Oh, well. Oh, well. Let's get into the cover pages of the papers now. We have The Punch. We have The Guardian. We have The Nation newspaper as well. I'll be starting with The Nation newspaper. This headline here, Tinubu to governors, be ready. Let's fix economy together. And then it has sub-rider Shetima, Akpabio, Abbas. Governors celebrate Eid with president in Lagos. Tinubu pays thank you visit to Awujale, Alaki. All right. And right underneath the nameplate of The Nation newspaper, we have APC non-serving senators reaffirm backing for president. All right. And we also have this one here. Deluge of visitors forced Buhari to leave Daura, says aide. He has gone to London because there are too many visitors coming around. Eid ground clash. Adeleke's account, illogical. Senator, governor disagree. Bloomberg rates Aliko Dangote Africa's richest. 11 die as truck rams into bus on Benin-Lagos Road. Okay. And then we have Ip Man cautions against hike in petrol price. Just yesterday we talked about how it might be going for 700 and then maybe 1,000 naira a liter. But here is Ip Man giving out, speaking against it, speaking against the hike in petrol price.
I think I will make that my first subject of intervention.
Okay, yes, okay. And then we also have Ambode reunites with Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, Fashola. All right. Cyril?
No, so the thing is, Ip Man raising a note of caution of warning to whom? To the presidency, to the government, to government agencies, or to the people. Because ideally, the people who bear the brunt, those who bear the brunt are the people. You and I, people like you and me, who have to part with our hard-earned naira, which is daily losing its purchasing power. You know what I mean? Yes, you have to go to the mall, you have to go to the filling station, you have to go to the market, you have to go to, pay all sorts of bills online and, even in cash. So the reality is that what troubles me is that we cannot have a democracy and the economy takes on the character of an autocratic political system. That's what I find a little bit worrisome. And that for me is an anachronism. You can't have a democratically elected government. You can't have parliament. You can't have institutions of government that are saddled with responsibilities that they should be able to discharge on a daily basis. And yet it appears everybody is turning his or her eyes to get a cue from what is happening at the topmost top. I think it's not healthy for the economy. It's not healthy for a democracy. It's not healthy for business generally. Business thrives on competition. And competition is spawned by options when people can easily buy and sell and flood the market with their ideas and which they've converted into products, and people can see and tell and make choices. But in our case, our economy is here to develop those wings and begin to flutter and fly. So much more. How much more to glide. So I think we need to look into that. This oil is at the heart of everything we do in this country. We need it to power our homes, power our utensils, power our vehicles, power transportation, power manufacturing, power production, power everything. And yet it appears that the space is being stifled, by the day. Why should Ipman be warning? A warning is, they could, but really to warn, why are they just warning? Why?
The question of who exactly is the warning going to is very apt.
It's key. In the north, people are buying fuel for us. The other day, yesterday and today, when the issue of 700 naira came up, 700 naira is supposed to be for the north. While in the south, Lagos 600 and not. But the reality is far from that. The figures being bandied in the media are official figures, are official numbers. In reality, first, have you even seen the petrol to buy? That's the first question. Petrol is scarce. I have a filling station within my vicinity, okay? We used to buy. For about 2 or 3 weeks now, they've not had anything to dispense. Rather, in the night, you would see somebody comes up with a 20-liter jerry can. There is a 5-liter, there's 10-liter, then there's this table water, the big one. 5 liters to buy 5 liters of fuel, you're looking at about 3,000 to 4,000 now, thereabout. Meanwhile, in places like Enugu, and that I bought about 2 weeks ago. In Enugu, in Anambra Island, people are buying fuel for 800 naira for a liter.
A liter.
Then tell me
how much it will be in the north.
In the north. So we are deceiving ourselves, and that's why I said yesterday, and I repeat it again this morning. I hope we can see it coming before it lands, because what Ipman is saying is what anybody could have said anyway. And I said the same thing yesterday. I said this thing will not take us to a good place, because for those who will not steal to survive, they will need to voice their grievance in an alternative way. And can government stand that? Are we ready for that sort of cataclysm if it comes? Are we ready for it? You cannot put so much pressure on the very thing people. Fuel is like the oxygen of the economy, at least in Nigeria. What air is to us is what fuel is to industry. Is what fuel is to the economy. We have not been able to have a conversation around dealing with those people who were bringing fictitious claims and taking subsidy money. It's fine. The president doesn't want to do that. Even if for me it is not wise, but everything is going up, and fuel is even going. Because what's happening to fuel is what is influencing and motivating the other things to also go up. I hope we see it coming in time. But who is it man now complaining to us or to the federal government? Because as it is, this is the reality. Right now, it is still very volatile. It is not yet clear how this thing is going to end. So even if federal government was willing to issue licenses to people to begin the port fuel, I can assure you that one, raising that capital is already a big risk on its own, and then investing it when you're not very certain about the environment in which you're going to be doing that business. So there's a whole lot of concerns. Should we not? And what I'm avoiding is government shouldn't be the one giving assurance for them to go and import or get licenses. We should go past that level. Government shouldn't be the one telling them, don't worry, import will help you. No. They are businessmen. Like I said, I'm a democracy. If they can't trust what's already laid down, okay, and then invest. Why then should we, what then is the use? You need government to give you assurances that don't worry, for the next 1 year we won't alter anything, you know, that sort of thing, before you cannot do business. It means that we are still living at the whims and caprices of whoever is the leader. I think we need to come away from that. The economy must take on a life of its own, ideally speaking, and that's where it should be.
All right, and let's move away from that paper. Let's go to another daily now. Let's go to the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, the banner headline here is in 30 days of honeymoon, Tinubu's sweeping reforms leave Nigerians poorer, agitated. That's according to the Guardian. And then we have on top of that one, soft drinks, chewing gums, toothpastes pose cancer risk, WHO warns. Should we go back to chewing sticks? Issued means hit 101 million, 56.7% allocated to males. Interesting. 56.7% allocated to males. Do we now have more males? Oh well. We also have here Catholic bishops kick, reject bill for council on Christian education. I invoked a Miloko spirit to win despite cashless policy, says Tinubu. Abuja residents lament growing rate of almajiri. I guess this is back. There was a time we had they were being taken off the streets, but I think they're back on the streets again. Environmentalist decries fresh oil spillage in rivers. Obi tackles Tinubu over long convoy, asks him to lead by example. All right, so these are the headlines in The Guardian.
I said it yesterday. Let me begin with the last headline that you took from what P2B said to the president, which is apt, which is timely, which is what I totally agree with. He didn't need that for sure. It shouldn't even have come in as an error. I mean, didn't he lay down ground rules to say, as president, I will take this and I won't take that? P2B did it. And I said yesterday here that Chifabolowo wrote in his papers enormously. He said that if he ever became president, he wouldn't need outriders. You know those people that, yes, he said he wouldn't, because he didn't see what they were doing, what use they were for, you know, to, as far as he was concerned. We must deliberately and by example cut down on cost of governance. You tell people to make sacrifices, to forbear, to be long suffering, and to hope for better days, and they are not seeing that same example in the president. I don't think it's, look, you know, the symbolic thing that the president could even do. I'm not saying he must do it, I'm just thinking. Take up the agbada and say it's a symbol of luxury.
And do what then?
And say, I'm fine with just the shirt and the trouser until things are good. As my personal endowment, as my personal sacrifice. It's symbolically saying the agbada is off as from now on. Because it's an extra layer of fashion, you know what I mean? And you can do without it if you so I mean, maybe except on Sundays or on Fridays or something. If you did that, I mean, these are symbolic gestures that could go on to make people understand that the president means business. And it will be a talking point every day. His spokesman want to talk about whether the president is also feeling the brunt of what Nigerians are going through. But when this show was not a very good one, was not a very good side. In politics, symbols matter. What you do, and you know, like they say, perception is everything. Oh, yes. What you do, what you don't do matters a lot. In public, the picture, if it was real, the picture of the president being taken in the rain in France, Babangida did the same thing. I think it was less than a day after he became head of state, and there was this event. He was speaking publicly. It began to rain. His aide de camp quickly took an umbrella to, you know, go to the then military president. Babangida used his hand to just
shove him
aside. The message was clear instantly. This president will stand with us in the rain. He will feel the element where they hit us. If we are hit, we will be hit. If we are dry, we will be dry. It was that image You know, Babangida was a master craftsman when it came to statecraft and all of these things. He was accepted. I'm not saying we should deceive that we should deceive ourselves as Nigerians, but as president, you must deliberately. The conference was even an event. Was just a day's showing. You know what I mean? That was just what happened on an afternoon or towards an evening. But how about as a daily, you know, practice or example to prove that indeed I stand with you guys. I feel your pain. So it is until we see it happen that we believe it. 2 weeks ago, when we had the argument over Ramfac increasing and people said the president had not approved, you know, I laughed because that argument fell dead in the water. Why? This is the simple reason. There are a number of agencies of government that are not under any ministry that are directly under the presidency. Ramfac is one of them. And I was asking myself, didn't the memos go through the office of the secretary to the government of the federation? Was it not copied in all of those conversations? Well, when he came into office,
so the conversation that the president has not signed anything. Yeah, it doesn't hold.
It doesn't quite hold. The presidency was informed. They knew what was going on. An agency that is directly, because as soon as you step into those offices, there are handover documents of works in progress. So is it that he took over those, the SDF, George Akume took the documents and said he needed to first take a siesta before he would come and look at them, when his own boss from the get-go has hit the ground running, whether for good or for bad? So who wants to deceive who? The thing is, government ought to lead by better example, which now takes me to the main headline on The Guardian, which speaking about that in 30 days of honeymoon. Well, I differ with the editors of The Guardian, if only on the grounds that the president himself made it clear he wasn't going to embark on a honeymoon. Except that they are looking at it from the symbolic statutory fact that anybody in office has.
No, but the headline actually says it leaves Nigerians poorer.
I'm coming.
Agitated.
I agree with
okay.
Yes, it's the part A that I have issues with. The president has made it clear that he was not going to go on any honeymoon. In fact, I hope I'm not wrong to say that he is the first president on record to have packed so much into his first 30 days in office in Nigeria. I'm correct in saying that, but I don't know if he was the first president to sack service chiefs, sack police head, sack CBN governor, sack EFCC boss, sack all the sackings that have taken place in less than a month. I'm not sure any president in Nigeria's history has done this, at least in the Fourth Republic. I'm not sure that Obasanjo, Yaradua, normally when they come, they like to relax and tell you to count the first 100 days. Sometimes it's even around the 70, 80, after like 2 months, that you begin to see them waking up, you know, to what in his own, what President Tinubu is doing can be likened to what Franklin Delano Roosevelt did in the US. It was he that invented the 100 days in office thing. You know, he inherited the Great Depression from Herbert Hoover, and so he came into office and he needed to implement sweeping reforms, banking sector, So they needed, after some days, you know, people saw that in less than, like in a short period of time, he had brought in measures that made the Americans begin to believe again in the public system, but particularly in the banks. People didn't want to put money in the banks anymore because everything was crashing. What's his name? IDR came, a lot of sweeping measures. So after 100 days, they saw that this man had done so much within that short time, relatively short time. Because, of course, president is 4 years, you know, but in 100 days, they are done. So they said, okay, this was where a lot of us have borrowed the 100 days thing from.
100 days.
Now, so in Tinubu's own case, he has not specifically or particularly made it look like, he said, don't pit me, I asked for the job, and he became president from the day he took the oath of office. And has done, look, from the Naira redesign, from the subsidy thing to unification of the Naira rate, the Naira to the dollar, the exchange rate, to everything that's been going on, including flying to France, you know, and everything that he has done, shows clearly that he came. People said that, a lot of people have said, this is the first president to come to the job prepared, you know, prepared for it. One, they've also said that some people have also said that no other person could have hit the ground the way Tinubu did. So clearly he's not resting. He took on, yes. So now the point about,
but okay, now the point is, him not resting, him hitting the ground running, how has that affected the lives of Nigerians?
That's where the argument now lies. Okay. Nigerians are poorer. People have gone bankrupt because you see, a lot of Nigerians live on day rates. What they earn daily, artisan, the informal sector is still the backbone of the economy. Whether I like it or not, it is still the largest employer of labor. So people, plumbers, technicians, mechanizers, vulcanizers, bus conductors, and so if you even check on the roads, there are fewer buses now. There are fewer people that are able to apply the roads. People who were ostensibly, able to keep themselves, keep soul and spirit together, now are gasping for breath. They are gasping for survival. How can we continue? Does the president believe that the speedy steps he has taken, the quick steps he has taken to put us where we are, will also lead quickly to prosperity and abundance? Because if
I don't think he believes it, because he's asking Nigerians to endure.
So the question now is this: how long
should we endure for?
Will this endurance last? Because I believe that if people had, when Canada released the list of 13 countries that did that, they waived visa, whatever, for entry. I said, well, is Nigeria on the list? Somebody said no, because if Nigeria was on the list, by now there would have been a crowd at the airport. People would. So the thing is, maybe some people would just let's go. When he has fixed the economy, people can now come back to. But so because the reality is that it doesn't look like it's working. What's the end game? What's the end game is not clear. What's the end game? What's really the end game? Price of things are going up. How will the price of things now? Because in the end, if we don't have enough to get enough and to live well, what then is the purpose of economics? So I want to leave it to the president. I don't know for sure or for a fact how he wants to run the show, but it's clear for now that what we could afford before, we can't afford anymore.
That's the stark reality. But let's go on to The Guardian now. Let's touch on some headlines from, some more headlines from The Guardian. No, I beg your pardon. Let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. From the Tribune, we have Naira redesign. Despite its failure, our money was confiscated. Tinubu. I invoked the Milocon spirits of freedom, determination to win 2023 poll, he says. Promises to fast-track Nigeria's economic growth. I could have benefited from dual exchange rates if retained, he adds. FG to stop funding professional bodies, councils. Minority leader, opposition against Tambuwal thickens. Wike may drop Jarigbe for northern lawmaker. And major shakeup in Navy as Ogala redeploys 57 rear admirals, commodores. 11 travelers die in Benin-Lagos highway accident. Catholic bishops reject National Council for Christian Education bill. Say it violates 1999 Constitution. All right. And on top of the nameplate of the paper, we have FG's debt servicing gulped 1.2 trillion naira in Q1 2023. That's according to DMO. Bloomberg rates Dangote richest man in Africa with $15.6 billion. First Bank introduces first humanoid robot to engage customers. All right, technology indeed. Nigerians are, getting there.
No. Well, I didn't want to. Let me not repeat the name of the bank, but I knew.
No, it's on the paper, so it's okay.
I know that was it 10 years ago, thereabout, they had sent some of their staff to China also, or they had arranged for them to learn Mandarin, because of course the whole world was and perhaps is still has something to do with China. So they needed that language facility to be able to engage better on the world stage. These are measures that that you hear of or from almost solely from the bigger corporations of the world. But it's good to see Nigerian businesses also thriving and learning how the world is changing and evolving and keeping pace with these things that are going on around the world. Because the reality is that you will either embrace change at some point or be consumed by it either way. So you must wake up. Yeah, and for me, I think it's not just the humanoid robot thing. It's a whole gamut. What technology is doing to the world is a whole gamut. AI, for example, you'd be amazed at the kind of production or quality that artificial intelligence is bringing to the game. You do a job for a client as a consultant, and AI is in the shadows, is in the wings, likely to put you on your toes. But it's a good thing also that God has given man the actual intelligence to create everything that is created, in a manner of speaking. So there's no way the creator can never become better than the creator. Yes, than the creator. So that's still the edge and advantage a man has over everything he's making. But it's good because technology helps to fast track processes, helps to bring in efficiency, helps to bring. It's the same thing the computer does for us today. Before that, it was a typewriter, ASDF, space colon, LKJ, space bar, and so on. You bring it back. But now with the computer, you can copy, you can paste, you can. You don't need to do this duplicate copy. There's a name that before now you buy carbon, put it underneath paper, you write so that it shows on the other side. We call it photostating document. You don't need to do that anymore. The whole world, some companies have even gone paperless. Everything can be done via the email, via WhatsApp, via a lot of things. So it's changing, and of course, banks, the media, production. When I mean industries, those are the frontiers of civilization. They are the ones who have the most contact with the world, with people, especially because in the media we give information out. And so, however technology can be deployed to help and fast track the process is important. We live in an era of data, Moses, where data analysis and cloud computing have become the preferred bride. In a lot of ways. So you find that if you dare leave technology, particularly the bots, out of anything you're doing, I think you'll be doing yourself more harm than good.
So it's good that Nigeria is getting in line.
No, of course. But my other worry is simply this. In Dubai, for example, in Dubai, government is more efficient, is smarter, is better, more creative, far more innovative by light years than all the private companies put together, including those that went from America, Britain, France, and even Germany.
Okay.
Why are the high-paying groups like the CBN, the NNPC? I'm sorry, I have to bring NNPC into it. The NNPCL, as fraudulent as it is, the NNPCL. Why a private bank? Why not some of these big, spenders? Haven't they thought of what it could do to help the operations? What it could do to, cut costs? For example, the president is in for cutting costs. Shouldn't we be investing in these things, even in local technology?
All right. Then let's put a peg on it here. Let's stop it here and then continue with the rest of the program. I must say a very big thank you to you, Cyril.
Moses, I'm glad.
Well, up next on VOP this morning, where the holidays end, the job continues. Mr. President must be back at his desk as early as today. But what should be the agenda by the dawn of the new week? Let's talk about that once we come back. Stay with us.